Hello, my name is Flo Delaneve, and we are about to do a video on edging and waxing your snowboard. The first thing you want to do is take your bindings off. As you see, I've already got them off. Now in this video, we're going to talk about what a lot of us do in our own homes when we don't have professional workshops in order to clamp on our boards and do all the stuff like they do in pro tuning shops. So what I've done is I've put a little bit of newspaper out here just to protect the surface so no wax strips on them when we get to that part. I found a couple of things that are approximately the same height. In this case, a phone book and a Scrabble board game. And I got my board set up upside down. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab my edging tool. Now this particular one is made by Swix, and it's adjustable from 90 to 85 degrees, and that's for how hard you want to carve and how progressive of a cut. The other ones that are very commonly seen have an 88 and a 90 degree, and you can turn them one way or the other in order to determine what dimension of a cut you want, what angle. So the first thing you'll do is you'll place it flat against the snowboard. Just work your way up and down. Everywhere you hear those noises, that's catching. Those are parts that need to be tuned up, need to be filed down. We'll turn it over. Alright, now the way you can test how sharp your edges are is you can drag a fingernail across them. And if you can pull a little bit of fingernail off, then that's how you can, out of breath, that's how you can tell if your edges are sharp. If it's not taking any fingernail off, then you need to go a little further. So, next part will be waxing. Assuming that your board has no wax on it, as mine does right now. If you do have wax that you'd like to remove, there are spray-on removers, different types of wax removers that are made on the market. Some use heat, some don't, and with that you can remove any wax. I usually just go over it. The main thing that I like to do is use wax seasonally. So right now it's very warm in South Lake Tahoe, so we're using plus 28 wax. This is made by Dakine, and it smells like coconut. So the hot iron wax generally has no holes like a clothing iron does, or excuse me, hot wax iron. And what you do is you just want to turn it up to where it says the wax melting zone on the back, which most irons have an indicator for the wax melting point. So once it starts warming up, before we get, by the way, to the temperature wax, we're going to use an all-temp stick, and we're going to do our edges with it. Now the reason we do this is because these are the areas that wear off first, because we're on our edges the most on a snowboard. So I'm going to give it a couple beads right here on both edges, and we're going to put this all-temp wax on. It's harder, especially warm waxes will come off faster. And if you're in really icy conditions, you'll lose your wax faster. So to have a nice all-temp wax that's harder right on your edges will go a long ways for the durability and longevity of the wax that you're putting on your board. Very simple, just rub it in, move the iron around as needed, play off the lights with your eyes to look for spots that you've missed, and you'll easily be able to tell. It'll be a different hue than the rest of it. Don't go past here. Where your snowboard starts to curve, you don't want to wax those areas, because if you're jumping or just in the back seat or in the front seat a little bit coming down, you will butter right off your edges if they're off your nose or tail if they're waxed. And that's not good, you fall. Okay, so we've got the all temp work into the edges here. And now we'll go for a plus 28 wax because it's very warm out right now, up into the 40s during the days, and that's something that'll help me go faster in warm weather. Notice if you hear the clicking, I'm just kind of eking up the heat on the iron as I go, just turning it up a little bit so the wax melts faster. As you see it start to steam off of there, that means I've gone too hot, so I'll back it off a little. But once I hit the snowboard with the iron, it's going to start to cool down because it's covering more surface area. So that's why you want the temp up a little bit too, so that you can keep melting wax, keep moving it around as you go. You can see how it just kind of works its way around. Same thing, you just work it in so you get all the holes filled in between. See how some of it's starting to build up on the edges. That's exactly why we got newspaper down. And for the next step. Okay, my base is waxed. My edges are good to go. I've got another layer over that. I'm going to let the snowboard, stick it outside for about 10 minutes. Let it cool down. And we'll come back in the next segment and talk about scraping your board and brushing it, which are your final steps before you're ready to go. Thank you.